Hi, my name's Trudie. I'm a member of the IQ Bar team and also one of the vloggers. This week's vlog is one in a series of vlogs about phonics. We move from phase 2 to phase 3, looking at set 6. So in this vlog, it will contain a brief summary of what phonics means, its importance, a focus on the 6th set in this vlog series. I've already mentioned what's taught in phase 1 and looked at phase 2, sets 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So in this video I will look at the next phase, phase 3, and I'll be focusing on set 6. If you haven't seen the videos of phase 1 and phase 2, sets 1 to 5, take a look, as with phonics it's really important to teach it systematically, so try to be familiar with the general order used when teaching it. What does phonics mean? Phonics is a method of teaching to read by correlating the sounds with the symbols in alphabetical writing. Words are made up from small units of sounds that we call phonemes. Phonics teaches children to listen and identify these phonemes that make up the word, which then helps them to read and to spell. For example, in the word pat, the phonemes are p, at, and the graphemes are p, a, t, which we relate to those sounds. This is known as the GPCs, the grapheme phoneme correspondences. There's a particular order that children learn these, which is why we have phonics in the sets, and we are looking at set 6. So let's take a look at why phonics is so important. Over the last few years in particular, there's been a massive shift in the UK about how they teach reading. This is having a positive impact on helping so many children learn to read and to spell. And phonics is recommended as the first strategy that children should be taught in helping them to learn to read. This then runs alongside other methods, such as guided reading or shared reading, which all attribute to develop reading skills. So you might be wondering, why is phonics so tricky? In some languages it's easier because each phoneme has just one grapheme. But in the English language, due to so many invasions in our history, which has meant loads of new words and loads of new sounds from our invaders, we have around 44 phonemes and 120 graphemes, which are the ways of writing these phonemes. With only 26 letters in our alphabet, this means we have some graphemes that are made up with more than one letter, and we call these digraphs. On occasions, we also have trigraphs, which are made up of 3 letters. To make it even more confusing, sometimes the graphemes can represent more than one phoneme. For example, in the word office and in the word cat, the C makes a different sound in each word. This is why it's so important that we teach phonics systematically. So what's in phase 3? Previously, we looked at what's in phase 2, and we looked at the 19 most common single sounds. In phase 3, we introduced the remaining sounds, so these may be more difficult, or those sounds that are less commonly used, and there are around 25 of these. Most of these will be made up using 2 letters that we call the graphemes. When teaching this phase, children will also be introduced to do more tricky words. Words like was and you, ones that we can't sound out phonetically. It's expected that by the end of phase 3, children should be able to say the sound made by most or all of phase 2 and 3 graphemes. And they should also be able to blend and read CVC words. Remember, CVC stands for consonant, vowel, consonant. First, let's look at the grapheme J, which has the phoneme J, J. To make this sound correctly, your teeth should be together and your mouth slightly open. this kind of shape, almost a bit like a fish. Your tongue will be at first at the top of your mouth as you start the sound, and as you say it, it will come down. J, j. It's almost as if it drops from the top of where your teeth are down to the bottom. As you say it also, your teeth will also drop a little bit. Next we look at the grapheme V, and this makes the phoneme the sound V, V. This sound always feels a bit weird if you're doing it right, because it sort of makes your lips vibrate. So you'll find that you'll push your top set of teeth on your bottom lip. Then you'll push down to make the sound. This is another sound that quite commonly is said as a lazy sound. So let's look at the difference. Often you'll hear it said like this, V, V. Then listen to the difference to how you should say it. V, V. This is another one that children can really enjoy because it's a bit like sounding like a little car going V. Next we have the grapheme W, which has the phoneme W, W. To pronounce this sound, you'll make sure that your teeth don't go together, and you'll kind of make a kissing shape with your mouth, and at no point will your teeth come together. W, W. As you say it, your mouth goes in small and then comes back to being wide. W, W. And the last grapheme that we're going to look at today in this vlog is the grapheme X, and that makes the phoneme, the sound X, X. To pronounce this correctly, you need to kind of make your tongue go up and then down in your mouth. You'll also need your lips open, but your teeth together. What can make it easier to say it is if you start with your teeth slightly apart and then as you say it, crunch down on them. X. Makes it much easier than starting with them closed. So let's take a look at reading some of the sounds we've looked at today with some of the previous sounds I mentioned in other vlogs, because as always, it's always about recapping your learning. So for example, in the word Jill, I've got the graphemes J, I, L, which I would pronounce ch, I, L. Jill. In the word pack, I've got the graphemes P, A, and the digraph CK. So they have the phonemes P, A, K, pack. Remember, if you're worried about any of the terminology, please just practice it. It will really help. I've taught it before with really young children, and the more they hear it and get used to it, the easier it is for them to learn. Please also try to focus on the clarity and the pronunciation of the sounds, because it is really important for children to hear them correctly. So if you're worried about how to say a sound, then please ask somebody. The team would much rather you ask. So remember, you've always got your team chats where you could ask your team leader, or even in one of the group chats. As always, I really hope this has helped. Look out for my next vlog, which will focus on the next set in phase 3, which is set 7. Bye!